Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. So, what do you know? Price went back inside the symmetrical triangle formation. It's doing the needle and thread, it's sewing up the tears. And here, whenever it passes temporarily the long term support line, price comes right back up. It was almost straddling it for a few days, went below it, came right back up. In fact, if you look at it from a 1 hour chart, the only full bar in this cluster that was below for the full hour, below the long term support line, is this red bar. Everything else was pretty much straddling it from one end, middle, or to the right end. And then with a surge, price came right back in. I think that's a good sign. Let's think about it from a seller population depletion, a seller genocide. Because that's really, in effect, what has to happen in order for Bitcoin to resume its bull uptrend. I think and I believe that Bitcoin is still well within its bull trend. It's within a definable bull market trend. And if you look at it from a seller population point of view, all the weak hands are getting depleted. They are the ones who are panic selling, and the smart money is panic buying it up. Breaks the support, panic selling by the weak hands, the weak holders, the ones who cannot take it anymore, the ones who have reached their maximum frustration level, the ones who feel that this was a mistake and they start blaming somebody for their mistakes, like Kejin. The ones who feel that if there's one more lower low, I am out of here kind of attitude. That kind of perception is very myopic, in my opinion. The reason is it doesn't allow you to have a contrarian perspective. And also, it doesn't allow you to have a long term perspective. You're primarily concerned in the now, the current situation. And the pain of now is what's causing the weak hands to fully divest as much as they can. And that's why the price is acting like a balloon, which is temporarily submerged underwater. And as soon as you let go, it comes right back up. Submerged, right back up. Does this mean that there's a guarantee that this is not going to go any lower? Nope. Remember that W bottom scenarios I gave. I gave the white pathway, which we are still in. And I gave the blue pathway, which is to 5100 or so. So now let's go to looking at how the fractal number 4 is playing out. And go to the 4 hours. So these are the bull wicks right here that are being formed. There was one major one right here too, and a big bull wick to this symmetrical triangle. Here it is. Here's a bigger picture now. And I've said this before, but I like to reiterate from a seller story perspective. I would say this is I'll give it a bit of a extreme name. Seller population genocide. It's not because I hate the sellers. No, absolutely. There is a good time to sell, to take profits. Is now the good time to be taking selling actions? Or is it better and more ideal to be taking incremental buy accumulation actions? What do you think? But with regards to this whole scenario from the very top to the current price, if you go from here, there were a lot of sellers. My gosh, they just tried to destroy this. But everything moved in three waves pretty much. ABC, ABC, ABC. And this three waves movement brought the price all the way down to 5,900. So they gave everything they had to try to knock it down. They did a fantastic job. Then there was a recovery, and now they try to do it again. But the effects and the results of the second attempt is nothing compared to the first. So that means it's like you're trying to do maybe a 300-pound rep lift, deadlift. If you do it once, you can probably have not too much of trouble. But I can assure you yet that your strength has been severely sapped. Try a second time. You can still lift it, absolutely, but you can feel the strength going away. A third one, you're kind of thinking, well, I don't know how much more of this I can do. I'm probably at my limit, but I'm going to do it or can't. I'm going to do it to the failure point. And this is where we are. The sellers are on the fourth rep. The decline in size of this wedge pattern tells me quite a bit. Tells me that the seller population genocide is well in progress. The strength of the sellers from here, fractal 1, to current fractal 4 has been sapped severely. So it's, what do you do? Well, again, you keep asking yourself always a question on the down and the up. Is this the time to be taking selling or buying actions? That has to be a self-answered question based on your own due diligence. But in my opinion, the seller's strength is next to nothing compared to what it used to be. And check this out. I know I'm showing this. I've shown this before. If you're sick of it, you don't have to write that shit on the comments. If you don't want to watch it and see it anymore, if you don't find my blogs helpful, don't read them. But it's my blog, so I'm going to say what I want, that I find is effective and useful. Now, congruent to the seller strength sapping scenario I gave you here, it's good to have a confirmation, a positive confirmation. And the MACD is my favorite indicator because you get 3 in 1, so to speak. You get the short-term histogram, the medium-term white line, and the most lagging red line. And if that's the case, look, MACD shows that the width of this symmetrical triangle was very wide. So the top-bottom height of travel that the MACD has was very wide. It's like a reverse alligator mouth, a reverse hairpin. And I don't know if how many of you study music, but when you have under a bar a hairpin signal like this, what does it mean? It means crescendo, you increase the volume. If you have the reverse of that, it means decrescendo, you reduce the volume. MACD decrescendo is well into effect. And again, if you guys have some music background, piano, if you see the letter P, means quiet. If you see two letter P's, it means pretty quiet. If you see three letter P's, which I think we will be here at this time by end of April, the decrescendo effect of the MACD has become severely muted so that the strength of the sellers have been wiped out. And if the strength of the sellers has been wiped out, what do you think would happen next? Would the market crash? Would Bitcoin just collapse? Or would you have a situation where not a seller can be found? So what do you have? No one but potential buyers. And here's the amazing thing. The tenacity of sellers is not to be underestimated. We saw one fractal, two, three, four fractals now. And guess what? I think we can even potentially see one more tiny fractal. One more tiny wedge, fractal number 5 potential. I wouldn't be surprised. But from a longer term perspective, it fits well into the scenario of what I've been telling you. I don't know if you guys are old enough, but if you remember the Monty Python movie where the knight gets his arms cut off, he's still fighting. He gets his legs cut off, he's still fighting. He's biting. I mean, it's to that kind of a effect. It doesn't want to give up. It's like a Terminator which can terminate, just that it doesn't know it. So let's see what happens to the price of Bitcoin over the weekend. I'm projecting that by the 20th, maybe somewhere in the range of the 17th to the 23rd or so of April, perhaps we can get a severe, violent turn. And what kind of a fundamental reasons could that kind of a turn be associated with? Many are saying the tax season is going to be over. Many are saying that the ETFs are now back on the table. And that will make the price of Bitcoin go vertical. Many are saying that even now, the ICOs, even now, the amount of big money investments inflowing is very bullish. Well, all of that, the fundamental jives with the technical, in my opinion. But I think sentiment has the most earliest and the direct reflection on price before fundamentals, which is why 20 years ago I became convinced that technical analysis is the earliest way to get a peek around the corner. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But it allows you to utilize techniques and allows you to Identify the confluence of indication and patterns and Elliott waves. So indications, patterns, and the Elliott waves, which I didn't label here yet. To give you a probabilistic determination and support and augmentation to help you answer the question, is now the time to be taking buying actions or selling actions? All right, I hope you found this to be helpful. More to come. I really think some exciting, very exciting days ahead of us in the mid to late April. Have a great day.